Exclusive information, exclusive about Marcos Leonardo. A source connected to Flamengo's board revealed that Marcos Leonardo's staff informed Flamengo on August 30, 2025, after 2 weeks of negotiations, that the player preferred to play for São Paulo to fulfill a family dream. In the statement, the staff thanked and showed respect to Flamengo, but they explained that, at the time, Marcos Leonardo had just had a daughter and wanted to stay in Brazil. But he wanted to fulfill his family's dream, which was to play for São Paulo. That didn't go over very well at the time when Flamengo was trying to sign the player behind the scenes with the club's management. The understanding is that if the player was really interested, he just needed to say he wanted to play for the club, say he changed his mind, and make himself available. But that hasn't happened, neither from the staff nor from the player so far. That's why the deal hasn't moved forward yet. So it has to come from the player. Thiago Asmar brought the information earlier that there's no resistance from Felipe Luís. I confirmed it. There really isn't. Felipe Luís likes the player. He's not in that profile they had defined. Felipe Boto from the football department isn't in that exact profile, but it's a player Felipe would love to see signed. There's no resistance. He doesn't veto the signing of Marcos Leonardo. There's no resistance regarding this signing, so why is there resistance? Flamengo has concerns about his conduct. Flamengo wanted to sign him for 2025. The player preferred to believe he was going to São Paulo. He wanted to fulfill his family's dream and all that, to go to São Paulo. But in the end, it didn't happen. He didn't go to São Paulo. And then there was this situation where Flamengo had everything set to bring the player in. Everything was approved, just waiting for the player's signal to confirm the signing. And he wanted to let them know that he preferred São Paulo. So for Flamengo to move forward, we've already mentioned this here, for them to proceed, the player has to reach out, show real interest, and let them know. Look, I'm willing to go to Flamengo, I want to be at Flamengo, and then they'll make a move. Without that, the deal doesn't move forward. So guys, for those who thought Flamengo was unwilling to sign players, that's not the case. And on this one, we have to agree. Flamengo has been making excellent transfer windows, excellent deals. We can't think that Flamengo is wrong in this situation. If Flamengo was close to signing him and he chose São Paulo instead, now it's also his turn to come forward and say, no, now I want to go to Flamengo. Yes, I changed my mind. I'm sorry. I want to play for Flamengo. Then Flamengo proceeds with the deal and can sign Marco. Hey guys, red and black greetings. This is Flamengo here. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're arriving here, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below. Turn on the bell notification and leave a cool like on the video. We remind you that now there's YouTube shopping here, where you can get official Flamengo products, help Flamengo, and also help the channel. Other products too, man, like TVs and everything here at the Shopee store, here in the shopping section on YouTube shopping, okay? So everything you buy here. You're helping our channel, and also, when it's an official Flamengo product, you're helping Flamengo because Flamengo receives royalties from these products, all right? Look, we have some information here to start this video, right? We always bring clips from the main channel here, but there's some very important information to share. About Felipe Luís. Man, I found out, you know? Talking to a source connected to the board, it wouldn't be very difficult regarding Felipe Luiz's situation, the signing of Marcos Leonardo, and he already made that clear in the press conference. That he has to put the team on the field. He has to make the team work. It doesn't matter which player they signed. He has to make that team work. He already made it clear that he wouldn't oppose the signing of Marcos Leonardo, but then Pilhado brought some information here, another exclusive from my friend Pilhado. In collaboration with Paparazzo Rubro Negro, he did a collab. We have this collab on Instagram. Look, let's check it out here.
Look, here's another exclusive piece of information from Pilhado regarding this situation. Marcos, Leonardo, and Flamengo. Felipe Luís makes a point to make it clear to important people inside the club that he has no resistance to Marcos Leonardo, that he never opposed the signing of Marcos Leonardo.
Look at that.
That he sees it very positively. if Marcos Leonardo is a name chosen by Flamengo's management.
It's not the profile he was looking for. No, that's not it, no.
But at no time did he.
And he also asked for another profile.
And what Felipe Luis makes a point of making clear to the people at Flamengo is that he's not the one who decides who will be hired or not. The one who decides who will be hired at the club is Jose Boto, who is Flamengo's director of football and has actually been doing a good job. In these negotiations, the talks with Paquetá were fundamental, always in contact with MAP, the president of the...
That's it. So,
It's very important for us to bring this exclusive news once again. Before anyone tries to say that the news isn't from Brilhado, we once again bring exclusive news. Because it's always been told to Flamengo's fans that the name doesn't please Felipe Luis, the media says he's not a player with a style that Felipe Luis likes, and that's not true at all. This is information. Okay, this isn't speculation. I talked to some people.
he just didn't ask.
None against Marcos Leonardo. On the contrary, he sees the player very positively and that he... So that's good information for Flamengo's fans. Because they know that their coach would like this reinforcement, who in my opinion is the best striker.
Best, I agree with you.
What are you arguing about?
He's a hell of a finisher.
He is
A guy who's way above.
the level for Brazilian soccer, in my opinion.
I agree. Pilhado. Look, so it's important for us to say this. If Felipe, I also had this information about him, he even made it clear in the press conference. But we talked yesterday, right, Pilhado, about this information about Felipe. He didn't deny it, it's just that. The information I had, which I was going to talk about now, is that a profile was created within the coaching staff and they wanted to sign a player with that profile. More movement, pressing, and all that. Yeah, and Marcos Leonardo doesn't fit perfectly into that profile, but he's a great player and Felipe likes him. So this story that Felipe would even have to accept it and that he didn't want it all falls apart, it's all nonsense. Felipe would actually like this signing? Obviously, right? He had asked for a different profile, but he didn't ask for the signing of Marcos Leonardo. But to deny it, never at any moment, and that's exactly what I was going to say here. I confirmed your information. It's the same thing. I get the same thing. That Felipe does not veto the signing of Marcos Leonardo. That doesn't exist. Felipe doesn't veto any signing of Marcos Leonardo. Okay? Felipe, in fact, thinks he's an excellent player. So, fans, Flamengo has to sign Marcos Leonardo. They have to go after this signing. We also know that this is the information that was brought up, even in collaboration with us yesterday by Thiago Asmar. Raiza also brought this information that Flamengo is going to be firm, right? Jose Boto, BAP, and company, they are going to be firm regarding the signing of Marcos Leonardo. Why? Flamengo had everything settled with him for him to come to Flamengo in the last transfer window, and he gave preference to São Paulo. It turned out that São Paulo didn't have the money, ended up not buying, ended up not closing the deal with him, right? I think it would have been a loan. But Flamengo had everything tied up with Marcos Leonardo, and in the end, Marcos Leonardo backed out because he wanted to go to São Paulo, and that ended up bothering people, right? Sources from inside, from people within the football board, from the coaching staff, even from the top management. People didn't really like his attitude of giving preference to São Paulo, and in the end, the deal didn't happen there or here, right? So Marcos Leonardo would be that player that Flamengo fans really want. But at the same time, there was this impasse, this situation that happened. And that's why, right? Even Raiza also brought it up, Thiago, that the player needs to take action, or a staff member or someone close to the player needs to take action and speak up. Look, he wants to go to Flamengo. He wants to go to Flamengo. He needs to make it clear that he wants to go, right? Yesterday, Thiago said he's already made it clear he wants to play for Flamengo and has no restrictions. But now the player has to say he wants to play for Flamengo, right? Because there's no point in denying it when everything is almost settled. wanting to go to Sao Paulo, then not going to Sao Paulo, then it didn't work out, you know? Now, Flamengo is the only club that can actually pay what he really wants. But then it's too easy, right? The players will matters, and I agree with the board. Flamengo must come first, so the desire has to be from the player if they truly want it. And call Boa, call BAP, I don't know how it is, right? He can do it, but the player's staff, the player's agent should put him in line, say, look, he wants to play there, he wants to go to Flamengo, I believe the deal can happen. So this story that the deal isn't moving forward anymore, that there's no chance for it to move forward, that's nonsense, okay? A simple move from the player moves the deal forward, and Felipe isn't vetoing it. The idea that Felipe blocked it has been disproven.